Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the One Word series where we discuss the impact of a single word on a verse of the Quran. The story I'd like to discuss today is the story of Musa alayhi salam. Musa alayhi salam, he lived many years in Egypt in the palace of Pharaoh, in the palace of the Pharaoh. He left Egypt and he lived in Madian, where he got married and he worked for many years. After he left Madian, he was on his way back to Egypt. As he was going to Egypt, that is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him a mission. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala introduced himself to Musa and gave him this mission of speaking to Pharaoh. And so Musa alayhi salam, he was a bit nervous. He said, why don't you send Harun, my brother, in my place? He can speak better than me. I have a speech impediment. I can't speak so well. Maybe it's better if you send Harun. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He reassures Musa. And He strengthens Musa's resolve. And He says, Istana'tuka linafsi, which is usually translated as, I have chosen you for this mission, for myself and for this mission. Now the interesting thing about this word, Istana'a, is that it doesn't just mean to choose. It actually comes from the word sana'a, which means to produce. What this means is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't just choose Musa out of the blue, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had prepared Musa his entire life for this mission, for this moment where he is going to go and speak to the most terrible human being that mankind has ever witnessed. And that is why Allah says, Istana'tuka. And many of us, we can relate to this. We may not have to speak to Pharaoh, but there may be times in our lives where we go through some bad event or something happens to us, and only later do we realize that that thing happened to us and that was the best for us because it prepared us and trained us for what was to come. Similarly, Musa alayhi salam, he was thrown into a river, he lived in Pharaoh's palace. All of that being away from his mother, all of that being away from his family, in danger, his life is in danger, all of that was in preparation for this mission. And so I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He helps us and enables us to serve Him just like Musa alayhi salam did. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.